We all know that economic survey and budget, these two documents are very important for the examination. Now, as part of our daily news analysis, we have already covered the economic survey and its highlights. As far as budget is concerned, in the daily news analysis, we have just covered the basic part of budget, the articles, the documents that are part of budget, etc. Now we will come up with a series wherein we will focus on each sector. So this series will include different videos. Each video will be focusing on each particular sector on which budget is also focusing on. So now today we're focusing on the agriculture sector. So we'll understand the budget allocations for agriculture. Now the first and major scheme of government that is being focused over here is Prime Minister Dhan Dhanya Krishi Yojana. Now government brought this scheme because government is very much influenced by the implementation and successful implementation of aspirational district program. Now if you remember, aspirational district program, it was launched by Niti Aayog, or it was the brainchild of Niti Aayog, wherein what Niti Aayog said, that we are going to identify 200 backward districts of India. Now, they have named it aspirational district, but they are obviously most backward districts of India. And what government thought is, we are going to focus on these districts and we will implement specific policies or specific schemes in these districts. So even out of 200, let's say they have taken 115 districts. Now they identified the key problem or key vulnerability of these districts. Let's say, for example, they found out that there are two districts where malnutrition is a core problem. So to deal with malnutrition, government already has Poshan Abhiyan, they have scheme available. So they will use this scheme or they will implement this scheme over here or in these two specific districts. So that was the plan, to go for implementation of schemes in a targeted way. That was the idea of Niti Aayog behind bringing that aspirational district program. And the results show that we have been very much successful in implementing that scheme. Now, in the same line, government has brought this Prime Minister Dhan Dhanya Krishi Yojana. So what government is doing? Government is going to identify total 100 districts of India which they consider as backward districts in terms of agriculture only. So there is one district which is agriculturally backward, maybe because of some issue related to land or soil health or irrigation or whatever. So government will identify such districts and they will come up with a targeted approach to ensure that these districts, they also come in the same line where the mainstream sector is lying or other districts are there. So it's a very important scheme, we can say, and government is saying almost 1.7 crore farmers will be helped with this particular scheme. Okay. Now, apart from this scheme, another scheme related to the rural India is this comprehensive multi-sectoral rural prosperity and resilience program. Now, one core problem from rural parts of India is the migration that is taking place from rural parts of India to the urban parts. And this migration, this is not migration based on choice of an individual. Rather, it has become necessity. Because you see, most of the people in rural area, they are in the agriculture sector. Already in agricultural sector, these many people are not required. And we do not see any other employment opportunity that is available in the rural parts of India. And people are not even skilled enough to go ahead with any particular job. So they are moving to the urban part. So here government is saying we are going to reduce this migration, or rather will make migration as a choice for people. It will be an option and it will not be a necessity. So for that they said we will come up with this comprehensive multi-sectoral rural prosperity and resilience program. The core thing they are focusing on over here is the employment, specifically in the rural parts of India, and to provide them with employment there will be much focus given on skilling. Skilling will be provided, investment will be made, technology part will be provided, and overall, the migration from rural to urban will be regulated to a good extent. Okay, these are the two major schemes or programs. Now, apart from that, there are many other initiatives. For example, there is enhanced credit through KCC. You must have heard about Kisan Credit Card. Now, already this Kisan Credit Card is there. The limit for this credit is somewhere around 3 lakh rupees. Now, whenever a farmer is taking a kind of loan for its working capital, there is chance that the farmer will be going towards any informal source. So instead of taking loan from informal source, it's better to go for an institution, banking sector. So already this Kisan credit card is there. Now government is saying instead of 3 lakh, we'll provide 5 lakh. So this limit has been increased. So there is focus on this KCC aspect, and it will include farmers, fishermen, dairy farmers, etc. Okay. Then we have this national mission on high yielding seeds. Now you see, in India, most of the times we focus on the traditional seeds, and high yielding seeds, we all know they are important because there will be higher yield, there will be higher production. So government is saying we are considering the aspects of problems that are going to take place. For example, now we are going to face climate change. Already the seeds we have, there is no pest resistance. Many a time some kind of disease or some kind of pest attacks these plants. If the seeds are pest resistant, if the seeds are climate resilient, then we can make our agriculture very much sustainable. So for that, government is bringing this national mission on high yielding seeds. Okay. Then next part, mission for cotton productivity. Now cotton is very important, but we are specifically talking about cotton productivity. See, if you look at the productivity part specifically, if you compare India with other countries like China, USA, Brazil, the productivity of cotton is relatively lesser with respect to India. So if you look at the data, India's productivity is somewhere around 450 kilogram per hectare. Whereas if you go for Brazil, China, their productivity is somewhere around 700 to 1500 kg per hectare. So this is the reason there is focus on cotton productivity. It's a 5-year program or mission that government has launched now, wherein productivity will be specifically focused. Okay. And apart from that, as far as cotton is concerned, we are very much dependent on our traditional seeds, or specifically this BT cotton. So now government is saying we will diversify this segment. Okay. Then next is Makhana board in Bihar. Now we all know, or if you don't know, this Makhana production which takes place in India, 85% of that comes from Bihar. So now government is saying we will focus specifically on Bihar. In Bihar, they are going to set up this Makhana board. And government has observed that as far as marketing part is concerned, as far as that organization part is concerned, there Bihar needs some help. So this Makhana board will provide all that assistance that is required in terms of production, processing, value addition, marketing, etc., etc. And all those farmers who are working here in this Makhana production, government will make a group of them and convert them into FPOs. So FPOs will be formed. Farmer producer organizations will be formed. So this is the core idea. Okay. Now moving ahead, there is specific focus on pulses. Government is saying we will now become Atmanirbhar in pulses. If you look at the pulses production in India, usually we see that farmers in India do not show much interest in pulses production. And that's the reason we see we are very much dependent on the import of pulses. Now, when we are dependent on import from foreign countries, it is very obvious that if there is any kind of fluctuation in the market, if there is any issue of demand and supply in the international market, then that is going to affect us. So the price volatility will be there, price fluctuations will be there. Now you may ask why farmers in India are not that interested in cultivation of pulses. They are so much interested in cultivation of wheat, rice, etc. Well, one reason is there is no guaranteed procurement by government or FCI. There's no guaranteed procurement. And second stuff is in India, we do not have adequate storage facilities available. So if you do not have storage, then that product will get perished very fastly. So that is not available. So what government is saying, now we want to reduce this dependence on import of pulses. So they are launching a 6-year mission, and there will be a special focus on tur, urad and masoor. Okay, obviously pulses will be having very much high protein content, and the plan is to increase productivity as well as production, and all that part, the storage facilities, that will also be developed. So post harvest storage and management, etc., etc., everything will be done. Okay, then the next part, post India post as a catalyst for rural economy. You must have observed one thing. India Post is having a really good network throughout India, and we have not utilized this network to its fullest. We are coming up with many schemes. We are working on logistics part. We are working on this banking part. For working on all of this, if we can utilize this network of India Post, then that will be the right choice. So government is saying now we are going to utilize India Post, and it will act as a catalyst for the rural economy. So now onwards, if there is some kind of loan being given, some credit service, any DBT, EMI, any kind of stuff, we will make use of India Post. Okay. Now, here is some data related to your pulses and all, which you can see. Although I have told you that we are very much import dependent, and it will have a really good price to pay. For example, pulses import, you can see 3 billion US dollars you are paying because you are buying it from other countries. Okay. So this is all about budget for agriculture sector. We'll come up with next videos on different sectors. Thank you so much.